r/ask Reddit by Redify. What is a complete no-no at a wedding? Announcing your own engagement, /pregnancy, /abortion, /divorce, death. I'm going to die now. Congratulations to the lovely bride and groom. Texting the best man, make sure your phone is set to silent during the vows. That is actually hilarious. Successively texting sorry, shouldn't disturb you. Hope you didn't check this. Get back to your shit. Wouldn't be smart either. Ding. Set your phone to silent. Ding. Oops. Guess it's not silent. Ding. Don't check it now, I can see you checking. I went to a wedding a few weeks back, and the lady in front of us in the church was wearing the same white high street store dress that I had bought to wear for my own wedding in October. I'd also seen it worn by a lot of brides from a wedding Facebook group I'm a member of too. It was white lace with a tulle skirt and gold embroidery. Basically, it was very bridal. She had random people in the street congratulating her as everyone walked to the reception venue across the village. I found out later on from the bride. She'd been asked by several family members not to wear it and still did. This is why weddings need bouncers. Do something you were asked not to. No wedding for you. My wedding has security. So pumped. That sounds like it will be awesome. I hope it's a wonderful day for you. Did you specifically hire a security company? Or do you have some really muscular friends running that? I ask because I'm likely going to have to do that too when I get married to keep a lot of the family that I'm MC with away. I'm getting married at a military mess. So security is built in. I'm MC with one family member, have been for 15 years. And FH family is known to be drama llamas. His mom showed up to a black tie event in casual backyard BBQ attire. Literally everyone else in gowns and tuxes. We are having a black tie event. They won't even let her in if she doesn't meet the dress code. So security will be helpful. FH. Asking your ex-GF, the bride, for a second chance. Or a shag. Huh, same thing. Maybe they are playing Monopoly. Tickling the person sat next to you when they say speak now or forever hold your peace and everyone turns around. Edit. Thank you so much for the gold. Steer app. Or the normal angry don't. Too bad my girlfriend is in the wedding party today. Otherwise I could 100% elicit this response from a tickle attempt in the pews. Instead I'm going to be sitting with her parents. Maybe her dad is ticklish. Just gotta find where. Probably his daddy dick. Telling the bride about any hitches in the wedding. At my cousin's wedding, one of the guests told her, the bride, that the buffet was out of roast beef. She's stressed out enough, and she doesn't need to know. Somebody else should take care of it. Tell the wedding coordinator or the maid of honor. Or just anything unnecessary. The night before my boyfriend's friend's wedding we were staying in the town where it was being held, and he was all, shall we ask bride what the best takeaway is around here? I was like, do you not think she has enough to think about right now? Also there's this thing called Google. Literally minutes before my wife and I got married, her cousin called needing directions. Keep in mind this is a cousin my wife is not close to at all, that she sees less than once a year, and that used to be totally estranged from my wife and mother-in-law. And the cousin not only called for directions, but insisted on getting the directions from my wife. I couldn't even comprehend the universe she exists in where it is appropriate to ask the woman about to get married if she could put her last-minute wedding preparations on hold and give her cousin driving directions. Yep, turn right and you'll see a cliff. Now just go ahead and drive off of it. Crashes through the top of the church. I'm here. Letting your 9-year-old throw a tantrum because he's not the center of attention. I've seen that at not only a wedding, but at a funeral as well. Same kid. When a kid is throwing a tantrum because he wanted attention, it's best not to give him attention, even negative attention, because, like a troll, any attention is what he wants. Unless it interrupts other people, best bring him outside until he cools off. If you can't get a babysitter. Edit. RIP my inbox. Most of the replies believe that spanking or the belt is the answer. Quite honestly, that depends on the child, their reasoning abilities, empathy, etc. I'm not gonna parent for you, so ultimately only you be able to tell. if the punishment fits the crime. There are cases when the child is deliberately seeking conflict or those seeking any form of attention. Those little shits you need to watch out for. But if spanking works, I'm not gonna go against you. In other replies, speaking/reasoning with the child after they cool off does work. However, again, that depends on the child's reasoning, empathy, etc. If that works for you and your child, congratulations on not having a little shit. Each child, like any person, have their own personalities. No book or parenting guide will fit all kinds of children and all situations. With that, I wish all of us aspiring parents and currently parents good luck and God help us all. Yup, that's conditioned response. But in this case, it was the bride's child. The kid is still an obnoxious little brat. Stuff him under the dress and let one silent, deadly fart out. Kid will no longer be a threat, I promise. Are you the guy that farts on children's heads in Walmart? Don't include the bride's beloved Nana in every round of shots or she might pass out at her table and everyone might think she's dead and get hysterical. This sounds more like a wedding do, rather than a don't. Wedding at Bernie's, starring Betty White. If there is a professional photographer there, get the hell out of the way. Put up your hitty cell phone with its awful flash. Good money was paid so that they could capture quality images of the event and people constantly jump in front of the photographer and screw up the lighting. Absolutely yes. The last wedding I was in, a distant relative actually stood up mid-ceremony, walked halfway down the aisle in front of the photographer, and proceeded to take pictures for about 30 seconds on his cell phone. Luckily the bride and groom didn't seem to notice, but everyone else was staring at him in shock. The worst relatives are the distant ones. We recently got married, and my wife had some family come that I've never met before. One of them came equipped with some ridiculous camera and lenses and basically proceeded to photograph the event as their immediate family's attendance at it, not as our wedding. Literally after we took family pictures, some of which they were in, they came up to the exact spots and were taking their own without us. I don't really care. Our whole goal for the wedding was just for everyone to have a good time, which would allow us to have a great time. I just find it odd more than anything. Who thinks while they're at a wedding I should make sure to document everything we did at X and Y's wedding? And I cold understood if it was like 1 or 2 instances. But it was the entire night. There would be times where our photographers were taking pictures of us, and this relative would be doing almost everything our photographers were doing, but taking pictures of their family instead. I didn't really notice it until the next day, when my wife showed me the pictures they posted on Facebook from our wedding, and of the 30+ pictures they posted, only 2-3 of them actually had us in them. I think the thought process is, hey, we're all dressed up. Let's get some good pictures of our family, and we'll just do the same shots the professional used, because he knows what he's doing. RSVP. Don't assume the hosts know you are coming/can't make it. Don't show up if you know there's no spot for you. They paid in advance for the food. Don't stay home if you yes. Emergencies are acceptable and understood, but just because you didn't feel like it isn't a good enough reason. They paid a hit ton of money to have space and food for you. Don't wear a white dress, mom. You're 46, you know that a satin cream floor length dress is inappropriate. I don't care how much weight you lost. Don't propose/announce pregnancy ECT unless you have talked to bride and groom. Even then you will still get some dirty looks from guests. Don't bring your kids if they weren't invited. How do you know? Check your invite for names and number of seats reserved for you. They didn't forget that you have 3 kids. They don't want them there. If you are unsure, ask politely. Don't assume. Edit, because I'm getting comments and PMS that buffet receptions are okay to just drop in on. No. My wedding is buffet, but we are still using a head count to know how much we need. In addition, many venues require chair rentals and can start upwards of $3 a chair. I'm not gonna rent 15 extra chairs just in case some asshole cousin decides to drop in with no notice. We had about 15 people out of just over 100 who yes and didn't show up, and half the people at the reception decided to rearrange the seating arrangement. If they'd waited until after dinner, it would have been fine. We had 20 or 30 not show up, because there was a death in the family a few days before. And the funeral was that day. Pretty rude dying like that. If you know you are going to a wedding, funerals can be scheduled to a certain extent as well. Through the magic of refrigeration. It sounds a bit like the person scheduling that funeral either was bitter about not being invited to the wedding or really didn't want to go to the wedding and created their own excuse not to attend. They probably didn't even know. It was like a second cousin to me, and so one side of my family was not there. But it was sad all the way around. They never found the body. I really wasn't hurt by people missing it. Never found the body? Sounds like they could have waited for this funeral. Wearing a white dress. No matter how good you look. I'm looking at you, Kelly Kapoor. At the wedding of a good friend of mine, the bride's mother not only wore a white dress, but also a colossally wide brimmed hat. Every photo of the couple standing at the end of the aisle had this woman's obnoxious hat poking into it. Had her go big or go home. Definitely go home. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.